live look at New Orleans this morning. This is a live view of the Mississippi River, which is pretty high right now as the city gets ready for the heavy rain from Tropical Storm Barry. And Brooke, a lot of New Orleans is actually below sea level, so heavy rain, that could be a problem.
That's exactly right? Like 10 to even 20 inches of rain
expected throughout the state of Louisiana. But yeah, it does really flood out there, especially in the New Orleans area. Of course, they have improved the levee system from Katrina, so that's definitely beneficial. But the good thing is with the system that the surge is not expected to reach the New Orleans area, but we could still see from heavy downpours the potential for some of that localized flooding across the state of Louisiana, especially for those major cities, including New Orleans as well. But here's a look on the tropical tracker as of this morning, the 8 a.m. advisory showing that winds have picked up to 70 miles per hour. The system is now moving northwest as opposed to west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. So earlier it was only at 3, very slow moving. So we're picking up very little speed. So it does have the opportunity to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane, which means winds up to 74 miles per hour before making landfall in south central Louisiana. So again, the next update that comes out at 10 o'clock in the morning, but we are still going to monitor this system very closely as it does approach the south central Louisiana coastline and then push its way in that northerly direction. So by early Sunday morning, it's going to be on land, central Louisiana, weakening as it loses its strength from the water. So when it leaves the Gulf of Mexico, it will no longer have the fuel, so the winds will die along with it. But there's a closer look on the track. Notice the portion of it is not really changed too much over the past couple days. Still looking to make landfall between Vermilion Parish right along here and even St. Mary Parish right along here. But notice the big onshore wind is going to lead to a lot of rain coming into the eastern half of the state. So that means a lot of flooding is expected, giving some relief to the Lake Charles area, Calcasieu Parish, even portions of Cameron Parish should see some relief from the heavy rainfall there. But let's take a look at the potential surge. Again, we were talking about New Orleans, not expecting to see too much there. Of course, the areas that do tend to flood, even with a high tide, those will obviously see that water rise, but we could still see up to 3 feet as opposed to the 6 feet they were projecting earlier this week. So it has, again, lowered the chances to see a very bad storm surge with this, but the biggest threat will be localized flooding across southwest Louisiana. Again, New Orleans now in the clear for that. Even Jean Lafitte National Park looking good, even though it is along the bayou there and along some swampy conditions. There's a look on the Doppler radar, the area that we should see that landfall make place. Starting to see a few showers already coming in from the south, so a very strong onshore wind is taking effect. But notice the circulation. You can see that counterclockwise rotation right along here. The center of the storm sitting about 55 miles southwest of Morgan City. That's along St. Mary Parish, along the coastal areas. But as you look off towards the east portion of the state of Louisiana, that's where we do have the heavy rain just working its way in. So still looking at the potential to see a few tornadoes developing on the well eastern half of this quadrant of the storm, and also the very heavy rain. So that extends all the way into the panhandle of Florida as well as Biloxi, Mississippi, even into Alabama. That's where they're seeing the rain coming in at first. Again, this is going to be like a pretty much all-day event, even into tomorrow with the rain wrapping around. So that means the heavy rainfall in short periods of time can lead to the flooding. So that's why that flood threat is fairly high from Louisiana all the way into even Tennessee, where we do have a flash flood watch in effect, which means conditions are very favorable for flooding conditions. So some neighborhoods, though, South Louisiana, about a foot or even more of rainfall that can fall over the span of the next couple days. So again, flooding is a very big issue along with the winds coming in from this system. Even now with Barry, the winds are extending about 156 miles away for some tropical storm force winds. One of the winds gusts that were picked up along some of the coastal areas were already at 80 miles per hour. There's a look at the system a little bit more defined. Again, it does have the potential to develop into a hurricane over the next few hours. So speaking of tropics, we do have this one area that we are watching off into the Atlantic. Watch as we could see this work its way off towards a westerly direction. Some of the models cut it off before even reaching the Leeward Islands. Others take it into the Caribbean. So we are going to be keeping an eye on that over the next few days if it does further develop. Temperatures today, though, in the 90s. Quiet on the radar now. Later on, different story. We're going to see a few showers and storms popping up as we go into the later half of the afternoon. So scattered rain and storms are back in the forecast for today. Even for Sunday, we're going to see a late start to the rain and storm activity, and that pattern does persist as we go into that brand new work week. So pretty seasonable conditions, temperatures in the 90s, hot, humid, feeling like the hundreds, and rain likely each and every afternoon late in the day.
R. Kelly appeared in court on